Welcome to this documentary on Ibn Sina, a prince of doctor and father of modern philosophy. Born around 980 CE in what is now Uzbekistan, in this video we will dive into his extraordinary life, explore his groundbreaking philosophical ideas, examine his revolutionary medical texts, and understand why his legacy continues to influence us today, from clinical trials to pandemic responses. Ibn Sina was born in Afshana, near the city of Bukhara in modern-day Uzbekistan, around 980 CE. This region was part of Samanid Empire, a time when Persian culture and Islamic scholarship flourished. His father Abdullah was a respected governor from Balkh, exposing Ibn Sina to a rich intellectual environment from a young age. From early childhood, Ibn Sina showed exceptional talent. By the age of 10, he had memorized the entire Quran, a feat requiring not only memory but also a deep understanding of Arabic. His education continued under the tutelage of scholars in Bukhara, where he studied logic, mathematics, and natural sciences. By his teens, he had already mastered these subjects and began to dive into medicine and philosophy. His autobiography, partly completed by his student Abu Ubayyad al-Zuzani, provides insight into his early years. However, it's important to approach this source with citation, as Ibn Sina was known for his self-aggrandizement. Despite this, there's no doubt he was a prodigy. By the age of 16, he was already treating patients and had gained a reputation as a skilled physician. His success in curing the Sultan of Bukhara granted him access to the royal Samanid library, a treasure trove of knowledge that further fueled his intellectual growth. Ibn Sina's life was not without challenges. He lived during a period of political instability, serving various rulers as a physician, political counselor, and administrator. His travels took him across the Islamic world, from Bukhara to Gurganj, Ray, and finally Hamadan, where he spent his later years under the patronage of Kakuyid dynasty. Throughout his life, Ibn Sina balanced his scholarly pursuit with practical responsibilities, often working as a court physician and administrator. His ability to integrate his vast knowledge with real-world applications set him apart as a true polymath. Ibn Sina's philosophical contributions are perhaps his most enduring legacy. He synthesized the work of Aristotle and Neoplatonism with Islamic theology, creating a comprehensive system that addressed metaphysics, epistemology, and ethics. His work were influenced by early Islamic philosophers like Al-Kindi and Al-Farabi, but Ibn Sina's contributions surpassed them in scope and impact, as noted in sources like Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy. One of the most famous thought experiment is the floating man. For Avicenna, it is one of the most famous thought experiment called a floating man. In this scenario, Ibn Sina asks us to imagine a man suspended in air, isolated from all sensory input, with no awareness of his body or surroundings. The question is, would this man still be aware of his own existence? Ibn Sina urges that yes, he would, because the soul is self-aware and distinct from the body. This experiment highlights his belief in the soul's independence and its capacity for self-knowledge, a concept that has influenced discussion on consciousness and mind-body problems up to present day, as discussed in modern philosophy of mind studies. Another cornerstone of his philosophy is the distinction between essence and existence. Essence refers to what a thing is, its defining characteristics, while existing refers to whether that thing actually is. For most things, essence and existence are separate. A thing can be conceived without existing. However, for God, essence and existence are identical. God's existence is necessary and inherent to his essence. This idea laid the groundwork for later philosophical and theological debates, including those in existentialism and scholastic theology. Ibn Sina also provided a proof for God's existence known as the proof of the truthful. He argued that everything in the universe is contingent, meaning it depends on something else for its existence. This chain of dependency cannot go on infinitely. There must be a necessary existence, an uncaused cause, which is God. This argument influenced many later thinkers like Thomas Aquinas in his 5 ways. However, not all Ibn Sina's views were universally accepted. His assertion that the universe is eternal, constantly emanating from God, was controversial. This view seemed to contradict the Islamic belief in the creation of the world, leading to criticism from scholars like Al-Ghazali, who accused him of heresy. Despite these controversies, Ibn Sina's philosophy remained influential, shaping the course of Islamic thought and later Western philosophy. Ibn Sina's contributions to medicines are equally remarkable. His most famous work, the Canon of Medicine, Al-Qanun fi al-Tib, is a comprehensive medical encyclopedia that remained a standard textbook in Islamic world and European for centuries. It was translated into Latin, Hebrew, Turkish, Persian, and Irish and used in European universities until the 17th century. The canon is divided into 5 books, covering topics from general principle to medicine to specific diseases and their treatment. It includes detailed description of anatomy, physiology, pathology, and pharmacology. Ibn Sina emphasized the importance of observation and experimentation, advocating for a systematic approach to diagnosis and treatment. One of his innovative contributions was the introduction of clinical trials. He recommended testing the efficacy of drugs on healthy individuals before using them on patients, a practice that is fundamental to modern pharmacology. His work also included early descriptions of diseases like diabetes and tuberculosis, and he provided detailed accounts of surgical procedures. Moreover, Ibn Sina was ahead of his time in understanding the spread of diseases. He suspected that some diseases were caused by microorganisms and proposed quarantine measures to prevent their spread. For instance, he suggested isolating patients for 40 days to prevent human-to-human contaminations, and practice that resonates with modern pandemic control strategies. Ibn Sina's medical legacy extends beyond the canon. He wrote treatises on specific medical topics, such as on the heart and on the management of the heart, which offered insight into cardiology. His descriptions of pulse, rhythm, comparing them to the flight of gazelle, were innovative for their time. His holistic approach to health, considering both physical and psychological factors, was ahead of its time and continues to influence medical practice today. Ibn Sina's intellectual curiosity extended to other scientific fields as well. In physics, he wrote extensively on motion, force, and vacuum, anticipating some Newton's law centuries before they were formalized. For instance, his description of the relationship between force and motion is remarkably similar to Newton's first law, which states that an object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion with the same speed and in the same direction unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. In the field of astronomy, Ibn Sina criticized Ptolemy's geocentric model and proposed alternatives. Although he did not fully adopt the heliocentric model, his work in mathematics included commentaries on Euclid's Elements and contributions to algebra and geometry. Perhaps his most ambitious work is the Book of Healing, Al-Shifa, a massive encyclopedia that covers logic, natural sciences, mathematics, metaphysics, and more. This was later intended to heal the intellect by providing a comprehensive understanding of all the branches of knowledge. It was widely studied in the Islamic world and later translated into Latin, influencing European scholars during the Renaissance. Ibn Sina navigated the complex relationship between philosophy and religion with great skill. He believed that philosophy and religions were two paths to the same truth. Philosophy, with its rational method, was suitable for the elite who could grasp abstract concepts, while religion, through its metaphors and stories, conveyed the same truths to the masses. This approach allowed him to interpret Quranic concepts allegorically. For example, he viewed heaven and hell not as physical places but as a state of the soul. The soul that achieved union with the divine intellect experiences heaven, while the soul that remained ignorant suffers hell. This allegorical interpretation was controversial among some traditionalists, but demonstrated his effort to harmonize faith and reason. In his later years, Ibn Sina's writing took on more mystical tone. Works like Pointer and Reminder, Al-Isharat wa Al-Tanbihat, and the Epistle of the Bird use symbolic language to describe the spiritual journey toward union with the divine. In the Epistle of the Bird, he allegorically represents the soul's ascent through various stages guided by the bird, a symbol of active intellect, to reach the king, which is God. These writings suggest that Ibn Sina may have had personal mystical experiences, although scholars debate the extent to which he was a mystic. Ibn Sina's impact on intellectual history is profound. In the Islamic world, his works divided philosophy into pre-Avicennan and post-Avicennan eras. His concepts, such as the distinction between essence and existence, become central to metaphysical discussions. Thinkers like Ibn Arabi incorporated his ideas into Sufi mysticism, while theologians like Fakhr al-Din al-Razi engaged with his philosophical arguments. In Europe, Ibn Sina's work were translated into Latin during the 12th century, becoming integral to the curriculum of medieval universities. His Canon of Medicine was used as a textbook for medical students, and his philosophical works influenced scholastic thinkers like Albertus Magnus and Thomas Aquinas. Aquinas in particular was influenced by Ibn Sina's proofs for God's existence and his metaphysical ideas. Even today, Ibn Sina's tomb in Hamadan, Iran, is a place of pilgrimage and reverence, symbolizing his enduring legacy. His ideas continue to be studied and debated in academic circles, bridging the gap between Eastern and Western thought. Despite living over 1,000 years ago, Ibn Sina's contribution remains relevant in modern world. In medicine, his systematic approach to diagnosis and treatment, as well as his emphasis on clinical trials, laid the foundation for evidence-based medicine. His pharmacological insights are still studied in the history of medicine, and his holistic view of health resonates with contemporary integrative medicine practices. His suspicion that disease could be spread by microorganisms and his advocacy for quarantine measures are particularly poignant in light of recent global health crises such as COVID-19 pandemic. The ideas, though rudimentary by today's standards, show that Ibn Sina was thinking along lines that would later become central to modern epidemiology. In philosophy, his metaphysical ideas, particularly the distinction between essence and existence, are discussed in existentialist and phenomenological traditions. His thought experiments of the floating man continues to be referenced in debate about consciousness and the nature of the self. Moreover, Ibn Sina's effort to harmonize philosophy and religion offer valuable insight into ongoing discussions about science and faith. His allegorical interpretation and mystical writings provide a framework for understanding religious experiences in philosophical contexts. On a global scale, Ibn Sina's life and work exemplify the universal pursuit of knowledge and transcendence of cultural boundaries. His ability to integrate diverse intellectual traditions serves as a model for intellectual dialogue and understanding in today's interconnected world. In conclusion, Ibn Sina was not just a man ahead of his time. He was a giant whose soldiers we still stand on today. His contributions to philosophy, medicine, science, and theology have shaped the course of human thought for over a millennium. From the floating man to the canon of medicine, his ideas continues to inspire and challenge us. As we look to the future, let us remember the wisdom of this remarkable polymath and strive to emulate his pursuit of knowledge and understanding. Thank you for watching this documentary on Ibn Sina or Avicenna. If you're interested in learning more, I encourage you to explore his original works or many scholarly analyses available. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and exploring the depth of human knowledge. Thank you.